Hello and welcome to Everything's Fine Probably, your weekly antidote to bad news and the podcast that gently suggests that maybe, just maybe, some people should simply stop doing things.
Oh.
It's been an astonishing week in Britain, not in a medical breakthrough way, more in a proud tradition of powerful men embarrassing themselves way. Let's start with the artist formerly known as Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a man who has once again reminded the nation that the phrase rock bottom is more of a suggestion than a rule. Andrew has had what experts are calling a very bad week and what the rest of us are calling a week entirely consistent with previous weeks. Every time you think the Andrew story's over, it comes back like a haunted fax machine. New details emerge, old decisions are re-examined, and once again, we're all asked to participate in the national ritual of saying, yeah, but this time it's really bad. What it actually is just the natural consequence of years of baffling entitlement, terrible judgment, and the unshakable confidence of a man who genuinely believed he would be the exception. It's less a downfall and more a very slow, very public slide down a banister made entirely of bad choices. Andrew's arrest has shown no one is above the law, provided you ignore the long, heavily redacted list of people who are. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the kingdom of absolutely no self-awareness, Nigel Farage has been having a week that feels like it was written by a committee of exhausted satirists who have finally decided to stop holding back. Nigel, currently the MP for Clacton-on-Sea, has apparently been working tirelessly on behalf of his constituents by leaving them immediately and flying roughly 6,000 miles away to the Chagos Islands to try and make a cheap political point and instead making himself look a complete prat. Now, you might reasonably ask, why did he think this was a good idea? This is a man elected to represent a seaside town in Essex who thought his time would be best spent trying to pop in on one of the most sensitive military installations on earth, presumably expecting a warm welcome, a guided tour, perhaps a gift shop. There's something actually deeply poetic about this, I think. A man obsessed with borders, sovereignty and security, wandering halfway across the planet and being told quite firmly, no, you absolutely may not. It's like trying to walk into Area 51 because you've got opinions. So while Nigel is busy being politely but firmly denied entry to reality, the good people of Clacton are presumably just looking around thinking, is he coming back? Should we water his plants? Something what? So, yeah, it's been one of those weeks. Stu, what's your take on all this nonsense?
Well, I think maybe Farage, somewhat of an overreach, isn't it? For what he was elected to do.
Well, I would have thought so, yeah. And it'd be like me wandering around trying to have a submarine base and being irritated that I'm not allowed in.
Well, absolutely furious.
Furious. How dare they?
Obviously, the Prince, formerly known as Prince Andrew. How much more can they take off him?
Well, his liberty seems to be the...
his name keeps getting shorter and shorter, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, presumably the next will be that people called Andrew don't want to be associated with him, so it gets stripped of that.
Can we take the Mountbatten bit off next?
It's a bit similar to Battenberg cake. That can't be good for business, can it?
Could he just go down to Windsor, Andrew Windsor, and then, remove that bit by bit? He could end up, just being A.
Well, yeah, but isn't that a little bit demeaning to the other A's out there?
Yeah, I suppose so. I also saw...
Why don't we just go with his Secret Service nickname
that
came out in the week?
Was that the C?
The C.
I think that's yeah.
Because if you are a bit of a C,
yeah,
you really don't have much grounds to be offended.
No, absolutely not. And I saw he was advised this week not to ride his horse as well, wasn't he? Did you see that? Because they said that wasn't a good look. Wasn't a good look because it makes him still look quite entitled.
Well, there is that.
But I just see him now sort of living in this cold, lonely place, ordering his horse to make him breakfast.
Maybe. Popping down to Pizza Express and finding he's been banned.
And, where's my dinner and where's my shopping? And then there's just sad looking horse looking at him and just slowly walking off, whilst
You make it sound like you almost feel sorry for him.
I no, I don't. No, I don't.
Good,
But
rightly.
I think even the horse thinks he's a big C as well.
Yeah.
It'd be the horse would be get off my back, A. No more riding for you. So
And I think that's quite right, given
I
what happened when he
absolutely.
studied in the past.
And yeah, and he said about Nige there. I'm sure that will help the constituency of Clacton no end that trip.
I
You
imagine
know,
so. My only thought when I saw it is maybe he's trying to out Robert Jenrick.
yeah,
Robert Jenrick, because he's a man with a history of making particularly stupid videos, isn't he?
yeah, and also saying things about Nigel Farage,
Absolutely.
which was somewhat embarrassing.
I mean, Nigel Farage isn't one for making videos that come back to haunt him, is he? I mean, apart from the Ian Watkins one
Yeah, yeah,
and the IRA one
yeah.
and the Robert Jenrick
Mm,
ones.
mm. Meanwhile, in America, the Epstein files rolls on, doesn't it? I think the Clintons are now about to take the stand, aren't they?
They are. And yet, the man
Mm,
mentioned most
yeah,
frequently in them,
yeah,
still
yeah.
nothing
What
there.
was he mentioned 30,000 times, wasn't he?
Something like that,
And he
yeah.
keeps walking around saying he's been exonerated.
Yes, presumably by himself.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. Um,
What a see. So, while Britain continues its proud tradition of powerful men embarrassing themselves at scale, we're doing what we always do, refusing to wallow and seeking out something resembling hope. And this week, we've outsourced it. Joining us from the United States, where optimism's louder, confidence is mandatory, and good news is still sometimes allowed on TV, is stand-up comedian, host, showrunner, and our completely unofficial American good news correspondent, KB. Kay, welcome. How are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
I've got a stink of a cold actually, so if my voice sounds a bit
oh,
different
okay.
today,
Yeah, we'll help you out.
that'll be why.
Are you soldier on?
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
I'll give you a cuddle.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
First things first, Kay. From an American perspective, how bad is Britain doing at the moment?
Um, I I haven't really heard anything other than some stuff with princes getting locked up and other
Former
stuff.
prince, we should
A
say.
former prince, pardon me. But other than that, I honestly don't keep up a
No.
lot. Um, I do try to look at like other news across the
Sure.
world to see what they're saying about America and yeah, but I really don't know.
No,
Yeah.
fair enough.
It seems like we're having more of a fallout of the Epstein files than you are. But in America, we see Mr. Trump as he's exonerated, isn't he?
I believe that is correct. He's been exonerated. So
Yeah,
congratulations
yeah.
to Donald there. Do we happen to know who exonerated him?
I think he exonerated himself, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
is that correct?
Um, I don't I try not to spend a lot of time focusing on somebody who should be in prison.
Okay, so that's good.
Fair
So
enough.
this is all about positivity tonight. So that's a really, really good approach. Maybe we should adopt that a little bit more.
We should probably. That's
Yeah.
fair. So, like, if Britain is emotionally repressed, how is America doing emotionally at the moment?
Mm. Are you well in America? Do you feel good?
No, everybody is unwell. No, nobody is. Oh, we are not okay. We
Okay.
are not okay. America is. I'm thankful that I live in America, but this is not the America I envisioned to see as an adult.
Mm.
Yeah,
What kind of things aren't you seeing that you would like to see? Have you lost something or have you gained things you don't like?
it has made corporate employment kind of volatile. I was corporately employed for 20 years by a major telephone company in the US. And when our president got in office and a lot of things started to change, a lot of people lost their jobs, and I was one of them. It's very difficult for people to full skill set, full understanding that I can do jobs and all those type of things. But America does not work with people who do not have what's considered a standard, normal, straightforward life. Like if there's anything that wavers and that's not traditional, you come to work and do this from this time to this time, we need more flexible job carving opportunities for people who have unique lifestyles.
Well, let's get some positivity into this whole thing. So, Kate, before we got on today, we asked you to have a quick look and bring us some good news. What have you
So
got for us?
I have good news, but I have to give you some backstory too.
Yeah,
So
Okay,
no,
go for it.
we love a backstory.
I live in St. Louis, Missouri. We made world news, I guess, a month or so ago because they said that there were three vervet monkeys that were loose in an
Okay.
urban community.
Oh,
They also said that there was a goat, right? So we went in this whole thing in our city in St. Louis where everybody's like, okay, is there really a monkey loose? Then magically everybody stopped talking about the monkey.
Okay.
They Nobody could confirm for us that it was AI. Nobody could confirm for us that there weren't any monkeys or the goat. However, I believe yesterday in a suburb outside of St. Louis, they did actually capture a monkey in someone's home that they have no clue of where it came from. So positive ghost, I don't know if that is one of the monkeys that was involved in the previous sighting, but they have located a monkey that was somewhere he shouldn't have been.
Oh,
wow.
yes, I love that. I've come home occasionally to find a cat in my house that wasn't mine. I don't know how I'd react to a monkey.
Like a legit small like monkey. It was probably about that big,
Okay.
cuddled up like in somebody's garage.
Oh,
So I was
wow.
happy that the monkey was found, that
Yeah.
didn't harm anyone and nobody harmed the monkey. But yeah, they said that it's not the monkeys from before, but we don't know what happened. We don't know if we really had monkeys on the loose in an urban community or not.
And the goat still hasn't shown up.
Yeah, nobody has found the goat either.
Maybe the monkey's riding the goat, like moved out somewhere. So who knows?
The
So we're all,
monkey saddled up the goat,
yeah,
rode on out of Missouri,
yeah,
and who knows where they are now.
absolutely.
That's
So
a bit of emotion.
have you seen all the socials over the last couple of weeks? Did you see about that little monkey who got beaten up in the zoo? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this has been big on TikTok and yeah, it's been big over here. A monkey called, oh, what's his name?
I can't recall the name just now, but there's a little monkey, isn't
Yeah,
there?
he
In the zoo.
basically he got rejected by his mother, and he had his cuddly toy that he went to for support. But whenever he tried to team up with the other monkeys, they wouldn't have him. So all he had was his little cuddly toy. But the
Oh,
good news part is he then got adopted by one of the other mother monkeys
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
So now he's got a little family
yeah,
and a massive online following.
yeah. He has got.
oh wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it
Yeah,
out once we
So
get out.
yeah.
yeah,
So I think this might be a new feature, monkey news. We often talk about lambs and sheep, don't we? So,
I mean we talk about whatever
yeah,
we happen to find
yeah,
on
yeah,
the internet each
yeah.
week.
Well, that's a lovely heartwarming story. That the monkey, we found a monkey. There's still
Yeah.
some on the loose,
So,
and
okay, I've got to tell you this. This is
mm,
Punch the Monkey.
yeah.
It's at Ichikawa Zoo.
Where's that?
I don't know.
No, okay, no, I don't know either. No,
What?
no.
Oh, you're not going to suggest a visit. Whenever I mention anywhere, this clown starts talking about going there for
Yeah,
a podcast
yeah,
visit.
yeah.
We've never been anywhere,
No, we haven't.
but yeah, doesn't stop
One
him
day,
talking about
one
it.
day, one day. So just before we came on, Kay, you said in the evenings you jump up on the stage as a stand-up comedian. Do you do that most nights, or once a week, or a couple of times a week?
I practice, so I go to open mics around the city
Yeah.
probably 3 or 4 times a week.
Mm,
And I host an open mic every Wednesday night.
mm,
It's one of the few open mics in St. Louis that actually has community supporters in the audience and not just full of artists.
yeah.
So they
Okay.
get an opportunity to really find out if their art is working and if the public is receiving their art the way that they want them to. So that is partially practice for me because I have returning people every week and I have to come up with new material every
Yeah.
single week to talk to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. So how did you get into stand-up? Have you always sort of been interested in comedy, and when did you start? Was it something you've always done, or more recently?
I got on stage the first time 4 years ago. Um, I before that was a door girl. So I took tickets and I took money at the door for a very
Yeah.
popular monthly comedy show here.
Yeah.
And so then I started producing that show to take the burden off of the person's whose show it was. And then one day I was like, I'm gonna get on stage. I don't know. People say I'm funny. But being on stage is very different than being conversationally funny. So it
Yeah.
took me a really long while to figure out my footing. and who I was going to present to people when I'm on stage.
Because it's a very different skill, isn't it? Because each week, even on our podcast, Jim does actually write a lot of the intros and the jokes, whereas I just tend to sort of show up. But obviously, structuring a routine and a joke is a far bigger skill than just being funny with your mates, isn't it? It's
Yes,
all
very
about
much.
timing and structure and so on, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's practice. A lot of times people are like, well, I don't have much of a social life, but the only way that you become a better comedian is being on stage trying to become a better comedian. You don't become a better comedian sitting at home.
Mm.
So, even when I'm tired, I still have to make my way to get on stage to practice.
From there, I mean, you run shows, you host rooms, you curate events. I mean, at what point did you realise you'd accidentally become responsible?
I've been that way my whole life.
Okay.
I'm my mother's only child. There were no other children in the house with me. It was just me and my mom. She was a single mom, so I've always had to be the person that was responsible and step up and take charge and fend for myself. And so I've that's just kind of been my charge in life.
Excellent. So, do you feel that like audiences come to comedy shows now purely for laughs? Or do you think they're looking as well now for some form of comfort, reassurance?
I think because of the trying times that we're experiencing in America right now, our states, our cities, everywhere, people need relief. And sometimes an hour that they can not worry about their regular life and can just laugh and just enjoy themselves. I think it's an important thing. Laughter is really good medicine. It helps people. That's really kind of how I would look at that is that people need relief. And I'm
Mm.
I'm thankful that there are opportunities that I can provide people with some sort of relief, that you're not just going through these situations and scenarios alone. I'm a stand-up comedian and I'm experiencing the same things you are. Might not
Yeah.
be in the same way, but yeah.
And that's a good way, isn't it, to discuss serious points and how you're feeling through laughter, isn't it? Because you can say a lot through comedy that maybe you couldn't necessarily say, for instance, just in a newscast or through, a different kind of media. Would you say in America one of the big challenges and pressures is your news cycle? Because from this side of the Atlantic, it seems your news is quite relentless.
Stand-up comedy and the news, it can be challenging because you never know who's sitting in that audience.
Mm.
The reason why it is I try not to be so politically leaning, just
Yeah,
because we hear about that stuff all the time. Nobody
yeah,
really wants to hear about that when
yeah,
they're
Yeah.
coming to try to
yeah.
unwind and get relief.
What
I
what what do you, what makes you laugh? What do you enjoy? Observational things, things we've got in common. Where's your humour?
Usually observational, self-deprecating sometimes, because I talk about my real life. I don't really construct joke and
Mm.
make up stories. Like I literally talk about myself and
Yeah,
my experiences. And so it's going to be funny and nobody else has had that experience. So it brings the authenticity to what I do.
A number of years back, like you used to do stand up and host rooms and things like that. I stopped a while ago. What do you find harder, honestly? Making people laugh or stopping comedians from going over time?
I don't know, because I cut them off. I cut my
You
microphone
just cut
on.
them off, did you? It's
Yeah,
done.
okay, so like my open mic style is there's a clock on the wall and it's set for 5 minutes and it beeps like a microwave when you're done.
Oh, okay, you're a beep.
Yeah, they know they're supposed to be wrapping up. If they keep going, then I'm on the microphone coming up to the stage and I will bring you down off stage. Um, in my eyes and vision, people who run the light are disrespectful. They're disrespectful to their audience as well as the show producer and promoter.
okay.
People have things on succinct time. If I'm supposed to do 5 minutes, I shouldn't be up there for 10.
And have you ever looked at a room that you curated and just thought, I made a terrible mistake?
Not in comedy, no.
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 Do you usually sort of see people first or vet them out a little bit before they're added to the roster?
Usually if I'm producing a show, somebody has just brought me in so that I can take
Yeah,
the burden off of them
yeah.
for doing show production. Oftentimes, I'm not picking the actual talent.
Okay, all right.
I do make a lot of referrals because
Yeah,
artists do come across my stage. So I get phone calls or text messages or I'm putting together a show. Do you have anybody in mind, or do you think you got somebody new? Because people are looking for fresh faces. And
Yeah.
my open mic is all talent. So you can eat fire, swallow swords, tap dance, play the kazoo. I don't care what anybody gets up there and do, as long as they respect themselves and they respect the business that the mic is held in. So I
Mm.
don't I don't pick lineups. I do give referrals because I see these people at other open mics when I'm not hosting, as well as they come to my open mic. But yeah.
That sounds really like the alternative scene in Britain in the 1980s, where you would get people juggling or eating fire or singing a song. So that sounds really interesting, quite eclectic, and it's good for audiences to see, isn't it? Such a varied show.
Yeah, and it's I think the thing that like the open mic that I host, it is in a club that you have to be 40 or older to get into this.
Okay,
Okay.
right.
You can be 21 and older to perform, but if you're just there to watch, you have to be 40 or older.
Okay.
So that makes it kind of more niche and tailor
Yeah.
specific. If comedians or artists are not accustomed to performing in front of that generation of people, they get that opportunity to see, okay, I'm 26. Do 40 and
Yeah.
older people understand
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah. That's
Because
a really good thing, isn't it, to
yeah,
connect, with a different generation.
yeah, and sometimes you walk into a room and you think the show is going to be one way, and you walk in there and these people look nothing like you expected them to look. You
Yeah.
so you have to have the ability to pivot and transition and have material that is kind
Yeah.
of it crosses color lines, barriers, financial settings, and all that kind of stuff.
And obviously this older crowd is this to do with like maybe the cannabis culture as well, which is in the comedy.
I recently hosted. I made Black History last Friday,
Yeah,
actually.
we saw that. Hence why I asked the question. We saw that on your Facebook. So
Um,
tell us about that. How did you make history?
Well, I was the first Black woman to ever host that show. A friend of mine in comedy, Kyle William, he is the producer and curator of that show, in conjunction with the Cola Lounge, which is a private cannabis consumption lounge.
Hmm.
The lounge you can go, they have tabletop games, they have all different types of crafts activities. You can do puff and paints, elevated easel, all different stuff. And they produced this comedy show. Kyle wanted to be the headliner and not host this month. And so
Yeah,
he asked me if I would host. And so I got up there and I did what it is that I do and I hosted. It applies more to my life now. I stopped drinking a year ago and I
yes.
do still consume cannabis.
Hmm.
Performing comedy, I'm always around alcohol. So
Hmm.
I'm always thankful for opportunities when I'm in cannabis friendly spaces and
Hmm.
I can do what it is that I enjoy doing to unwind and relax.
Would you say obviously the crowds are very different then?
Cannabis comedy crowds are some of the most interesting people
Yeah,
I have ever engaged, interacted with, talked to, just the whole cannabis community within itself. You meet all different types of people, people that normally, if I wasn't consuming cannabis, I wouldn't have met this person or I wouldn't
no,
have met that
yeah,
person.
yeah,
If I wasn't going to the Cola Lounge just to hang out for like
yeah.
Fridays and everybody's smoking cannabis, if I didn't go there, I never would have met this
No.
person. So, the
And that's
challenge though, when people are smoking weed is
mm.
that their laughter is delayed. So the timing changes
Yeah.
because they're high. They're not really, so it's going to take them longer to catch the whole, like, oh, 2 minutes later, you guys are finally. So it can be challenging because at cannabis shows, sometimes you don't really know if you've done a good job.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you sort of could walk off and then you get a round of applause 5 minutes later.
or they're telling you after the show how great and phenomenal you were. And it's like, well, you
Yeah.
all were not laughing.
Yes. Yeah, they've sort of only just processed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you holding it all in on the inside. Give the laughs up. Laugh.
People quietly enjoying stand-up comedy just doesn't work, does it? It's not.
Yeah, I'm like, what? What is happening? Or are
Yeah,
we all here together?
yeah. So do you have to write like a different routine then, like a bit more languid, a bit slower?
No,
No,
I
you just
usually
still
just
do it.
take my time. I have some jokes that well, really just one joke that I only tell at cannabis shows because they seem to really be the only audience that gets what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And that joke was written when I was high.
yeah,
So that joke usually always hits exactly where it's supposed to because I was
yeah.
high. I was kind of delayed in my giggle process. So usually once I spit that one out, then I can get them kind of
Mm.
engaged and going. It's like we're not that serious here. I'm saying something absurd.
So
Good.
not shouty like an alcohol crowd.
No.
Alcohol crowd, they're usually noisy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
noisy crowd. Yeah.
I have a difficult time being quiet.
Yeah.
Be quiet.
Do
Talk.
you ever do you ever get heckled?
I have not been heckled yet. I know that my day will come. But as of right now, I was on a show on Valentine's Day, and there was this lady in the audience. She heckled everybody on the show except for me. And I
Oh,
was waiting for her. I was waiting for her so bad. I was like, I'm ready. If you start that when I get up here.
Yeah.
And she didn't even do it. I was like,
Yeah.
dang, I thought this was gonna be my moment to get heckled.
Yeah. Yeah.
A small
I quite enjoyed a heckle. But the worst one I got, this wasn't really a heckle. It was a really hard one to deal with. I was doing, it's like a charity thing, like a village hall type affair. So I'm up on the stage doing my routine. And this little old lady comes to the front. She sort of beckoned me like that. So I leant down to talk to her. And she said, "You're going to have to get off the stage now. Nobody knows who you are. And we want to do the raffle."
Sort of like a sort of competition thing. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was your biggest put down.
That was, I
Yeah.
mean, you can't go back and look at it.
You can't go back. So if someone was to heckle you, Kay, have you got a couple lined up to come back at them with?
Hey, my number one thing is gonna be enjoy the show. Don't become a part of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Enjoy the show. Because
Yeah.
I try not to bother the audience. They don't come there for me to mess with them. They come there to
Yeah.
be entertained and laugh.
Yeah.
My other go-to is what? This is not comedy karaoke. Why are you yelling out?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Because
But I still try not to personally attack.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So it's like a respect thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird because there is really no other art form where the audience think it's perfectly acceptable to shout over the top of what the performer's prepared for them.
Yeah, like theatre or cinema.
Particularly not when, I mean, I don't know what happens in your ones, but most of the time in comedy clubs in Britain, it's basically people just telling you to F off.
Mm, mm.
Yeah,
They're not funny or clever or anything like that.
and in St. Louis, we have comedy clubs, but most of our comedy, because I perform comedy in front of whatever audience, but most of our comedy is happening in bars, grills, event spaces.
So, would you say doing stand up over the last 3 or 4 years has helped improve your confidence and your well-being? Is that why you do it, or do you just enjoy it? You just enjoy getting up in front of people?
Performing stand-up comedy was really the only thing that was available to me. Once I got laid off, my daughter has to be dropped off at like 9 a.m. and picked up by 3 p.m. She has a lot of health and medical challenges. Brand new jobs, don't understand anything like that. And I had to figure out how to make some money. Um, I jumped on stage and just worked to become better. I didn't know that actively performing stand-up comedy would make me look at my spirituality, would make me actually I do so much self-reflection now more than I probably ever have in my adult life, simply because on stage in front of people, I have to have awareness of myself. I have to have awareness of what's happening in the world, what people may be experiencing. I think stand-up comedy kind of brought me back to God. I don't
Mm.
think I really left, but yeah, it has caused me to really hone in and focus on my spirituality a lot.
I think, by having a creative outlet, it does make you sort of self-reflect. I mean, a lot of reasons we do this podcast is it's a creative outlet for us each week. We think about life, we think about things, don't we? We look for positivity. So it actually, I think, does make you more sort of fulfilled, doesn't it? Like sort of spiritually. We're all creative, aren't we? And often art is like framed as this for the rich and it's exclusive, but we can all do art, can't we? We can all find creativity, even if it's not very good. Doesn't matter, does it? It's good for your soul.
Yeah, it's good for people to have healthy ways to express themselves.
Yeah.
Comedy allows me to, in a healthy way, laugh at the absurdity of my life, but
Yeah.
also I give people a glimpse into my life because I talk about what I experience, what I'm going through, and all those things. But that takes a certain level of vulnerability that
Yeah.
people begin to believe that they know you. And
Yeah.
it's like, you don't know me. That was
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
So to make sure that I'm responding appropriately to people after shows and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, God, get me
Yeah.
together. Are you okay, KB? Yes, you're okay. Okay, cool. Because these people, regardless of how I might feel, gonna want to talk to me, engage with me. And it's like, yeah, no, like I have to be a better person to accept and understand fans.
For anyone who's not close by and can't just go and see you, where can people see and enjoy some of your comedy? Is there any of it online that we can direct
I
them
did
towards?
a special over the summer called the Lou Laugh Lounge, and that is posted on YouTube. If you type in the LOU and then lounge and put KB, there's a, I think, 7 or 8 minute set that you can see me perform there. I don't really have a lot of online footage and clips and stuff like that, but
Using
that's
people
one if they
tips.
want to see me, I'm on YouTube.
Fantastic. We will connect up to that on the socials and push some more people your way. Okay, Kate, I'd like now to try doing a quick fire round with you. So I'm just going to throw some questions at you. Don't overthink the answers. See what we come up with. So,
This sounds like a lot of fun.
what is the best pre-show hype song?
The best pre-show hype song? Stand Up by Ludacris.
What's the worst audience reaction you've ever survived?
People not laughing.
Is that the cannabis culture late about 10 minutes after you've gone off?
Yeah, and like even not at a cannabis show, like everybody doesn't always have a good night. And when people don't laugh, I didn't do my job and I feel like I robbed a promoter. So yeah,
Hopefully that one doesn't happen too
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about heckles, but we've covered that.
Mm.
What's one thing that Britain does better than America?
healthcare,
It's hard to disagree with that.
Yeah.
What's one thing that America does better than Britain?
cold drinks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, again, happy with that.
Yeah.
Is comedy therapy, or is therapy just badly marketed comedy?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Comedy is therapy for me because my therapist won't call me back. I text her in August, on August the 16th of 2025. She said she was gonna call me back and she still hasn't. So now I just get on stage and talk about my life for people because my therapist will not call me back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we explore why your therapist won't call you back?
I don't know. I think my therapist needs a therapist.
Or maybe they need a comedian.
Yeah, yeah.
So right now, honestly, do you feel optimistic?
I have nothing to lean on but hope.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
even when the days are dark, I
Yeah.
believe that things will get better. There is no other choice. They have to get better. I don't know how, but I have nothing to lean on but hope.
And I think if the course of human history shows us anything, it's that things generally they do get better.
Yeah.
It's not a smooth line.
No.
They get worse, then they get better again, but the trend is always upwards.
I would agree.
Is there one thing that's just quietly in the background getting better that no one's shouting about?
It's quietly getting better. In America,
Oh, just generally.
generally, quietly getting better. I do a blog on Substack.
Hmm.
Okay.
And that is silently becoming better because it gives me better alternatives to express myself instead of sending somebody a text message about something ridiculous, like them discontinuing the penny and how they're robbing me every time I pay with cash. I wrote a Substack about it.
So how,
And
how do we see your Substack?
everything, if you want to find me anywhere, it's KB Jokes, KAYBEEJOKES. That's the Instagram, that's the TikTok, that's the Venmo, that's the Cash App. If I call your phone and my number is not saved, it'll even pop up on your caller ID. Anywhere anybody wants to find me is KB Jokes.
So there you go. Check out KB Jokes.
Next week, National Book Day in Britain. Do you have a favourite book at all? Maybe one from childhood or one you read now, or is there a book that's ever kind of stayed with you? Or do you even read books? A lot of people don't these days.
I read books. I think a book that really stayed with me was I'm trying to there were three, but there's this one called The Kitchen House by Kathleen Grissom.
Okay.
I like some historical fiction. It talks about slavery and the people who lived in the kitchen house and the atrocities of indentured servitude and people being violated by their masters and having children and all of those things. But it was a whole story. Like it wasn't just about the bad. It was about
Gotcha.
like, everything about everything. Is I it just that when I see people, like I've seen people in the doctor's office in the waiting room reading that book, And I'm like, that is such a good book. And they're like, yeah. So anytime I see anybody reading that book, I'm like, that's a good book. Stick
And
with it.
and is that a hopeful book? Is there a message of hope in there?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's hopeful per se.
Mm,
It gives a lens into a time that I never will see.
sure.
So I think that's why I appreciate it the most.
Cool. So you got the Kitchen House. You said there was three. What are the other two?
The 13th Tale and Little B. I went through this weird phase where I didn't know I was picking up all these books and they all were set in the UK. Like the 13th Tale and Little B are both set in the UK. And I didn't know when I got the books, but they both were really good books.
And are they historical novels or as well?
13th Tale, not necessarily. It's kind of
Mm.
some ghost stuff, kind of some historical stuff. Little B, not historical at all, just regular read. It was a good book.
Fantastic. And then we're going to ask you for one more thing before you go. We do these like mixtapes as well. So we do soundtracks and then we pick a frame, a title for them. So we're looking for a favorite song from a 1990s movie. Do you have one you could pull out, for instance? You don't even have to like the movie, or you might love the movie.
It is We Haven't Finished Yet is the name of the song.
Yep.
It's from The Five Heartbeats. Shouts
Okay.
out to Mr. Townsend. Robert Townsend made that film. And in the movie, the character Duck is in his bedroom. He shares a room with his siblings. He has a little sister, but he's an adult and he's sharing a room with his little sister. And he's writing a song on these scraps of paper. And he's like, no, this isn't the right song. And he's throwing it. And his sister picks up the papers and starts reading and singing this song about how they haven't finished yet. And they're running around the room grabbing these scraps of paper that he keeps throwing away, saying, no, this is not the right lyric. This is not the right song. And his sister and him, they're running around the room grabbing these scraps of paper, creating this song out of these scraps and coming together. So that whole scene is just so, I don't know. You don't always expect the help to come from where it is that it does. Because I know in that scene, like my little sister, we have bunk beds and I'm a grown man and I'm in the room with my sister. She can't help me. She's gonna annoy me and help him write this beautiful song. So yeah, I that's one of my favorite movies, but that is probably a scene in a film with a song that sticks with me.
That's brilliant.
Okay, should we do a wrap? Do you want to wrap it up?
I was just starting to. I'm literally. You always says this guy every week.
Go on with it.
So, before anybody else powerful embarrasses themselves or attempts to enter somewhere they absolutely shouldn't, and yes, that goes for both Nigel Farage and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Huge thanks to Kay for joining us in the States today, and showing us that, there may not be huge amounts of great news out there, but we got monkeys and goats. Maybe goats. Who knows? Rumours of goats. And that's something to be happy about.
I think so.
As ever, if this episode has helped you feel a little bit lighter, calmer, or simply less aware of the mainstream news cycle for a bit, then we consider that a public service. Remember, no matter how bad your week's been, at least you didn't spend it discovering the consequences are real, or flying 6,000 miles only to be outraged to be politely told absolutely not, like Nigel Farage trying to pop into a military base. Before we go, a quick reminder that our last music episode is still available on Mixcloud. It's a collection of some of our favourite obscure tracks from very well-known artists. So deep cuts, forgotten gems, and songs that are going to make you feel a little bit more smart just because you know they exist. And as Stu said, we're working on a brand new music episode at the moment. Hopefully there'll be at least one track in there that'll make you stare into the middle distance and nostalgically remember a VHS tape. So thank you for listening. Thanks for spending part of your week with us. Thank you for choosing a podcast that looks at the state of the world, sighs quietly, and decides to put on some music instead. Everything may not be great, but you know what? It's fine, probably. See you next week.